Every account on this list is a real business owner. They have been checked against my criteria, and I didn't find a single one of them. Claude Code did. In this video, I'm going to walk you through it step by step so that you can configure this for your niche and generate thousands, if not tens of thousands of leads from Instagram with emails and phone numbers included. First, we're going to set up Claude and all the scraping tools that you need. Then we're going to run the script and watch it find leads and qualify them in real time. And finally, I'll share how you can use that list to actually get more clients. And the best part is everything we're doing in this video, I'm going to give to you completely for free at the end. What we're going to set up is a Claude skill that is able to scrape from Instagram and pull public emails, public phone numbers, bios, post information, and much more for your specific target audience. The first thing you need to do is make sure you have Claude installed and navigate to the Code tab at the top. Now, I'd highly recommend you have a max plan with Claude, but if you don't, the Pro plan should be enough to scrape hundreds, maybe a couple thousand of leads. But if you want to do big time lead generation, the max plan will be necessary. We're going to build the whole system in this video from scratch so that you can see the entire process and how I go about building out new things inside of Claude, but you're going to get everything at the end so that you can simply plug and play this really easily. The first thing I'm going to do in the Code tab is in the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and click on Open Folder. I'm going to go to my desktop, and here I'm going to create a new folder called Claude Code Scraping IG Leads. We're going to go ahead and create this folder and open it up. Simply click on Trust Workspace, and we now have a session where we can start describing things. Very important, click on Auto and select Bypass Permissions and enable that permission. Make sure you have a powerful model selected, such as Fable 5, or in this case, we're going to use Opus 5. Next, I've put the link down below in the description for HikerAPI, which is what we're going to be using to actually scrape all of our Instagram leads. Simply register for an account. And once you have an account, simply add some money so that you can start using the scraping capabilities. And a minimum top up of $20 is going to unlock the plan where it's going to cost you 2 cents per request. The more of a balance you upload, the cheaper it gets. And I am currently on the business plan, so it costs me $0.00069 per request. So once you top up $300 at least, it becomes incredibly cheap. Next, we're gonna go to tokens. And here you're gonna be able to set up a token which your Claude is gonna be able to use to scrape. Simply copy the token and go into Claude. And I'm now gonna add in a starter prompt. I want to build out an entire scraping capability which allows me to scrape leads from Instagram for my specific niche. As an example niche, I want to use business owners, and for this we're going to scrape the audience of Alex Hormozy. His Instagram handle is @Hormozy, and we're going to be using the HikerAPI to do so. Please go ahead and check my Claude Code No Sync workspace folder, pull the HikerAPI credentials from there and the skill, and go ahead and set everything up for me. Now I've gone ahead and added in this first prompt. As you can see, I told it to check my other workspace where I already have this set up, just to shortcut a little bit of the process while building this out. But you could literally tell it right here to figure out from scratch how to use HikerAPI. Now, important note, you won't have to do this because the resource is going to be provided to you for free. Now I'm simply going to go ahead and send that message in, and it's now in the folder and it's going to start linking things up. Now in your case, you would have to take the API key from HikerAPI and provide it to your Claude Code session as well. In this case, for my target audience, I've specified business owners, and I even specified that I want to scrape the audience of Alex Hormozy with the Instagram handle Hormozy, and we're going to be using HikerAPI to do so. Now, whatever your niche is, if you want to scrape roofers, gardeners, local coffee shops, e-com businesses, it doesn't matter what you want to do. You can simply tell it to do that specific niche, and it will figure out a way to actually make it happen. If you have source accounts where you want to scrape the audience from, that is obviously going to be beneficial as well to speed up the process for Claude. After Claude ran for about 30 minutes, it set up the entire skill, figured out the HikerAPI, figured out how to scrape leads, and it provided me with 1,000 qualified business owners, with 91% having off-platform contact details such as 529 emails and 269 phones and 792 websites. And I have the CSV file right here. But before I show you the CSV, I want to show you the process that Claude went through. Initially, when I started, it went through, pulled all of the credentials that it needed. I told it that we need 1,000 leads just for this first test. It then built the Python, it built the code. I said, please add emails and phone numbers where available. It then went through everything. It figured out all of the API endpoints, ran through the full thing, tested a couple of leads, and it then even did a comparison to see what the qualification rate is for commenters versus likers. So commenters is 2.4 times more qualified than likers, as well as the full name contains name dash business, and that pattern has 67% of people. From there it continued, it did all the scraping. I told it, can you run multiple threads in parallel to speed this up? And it ended up figuring that out and actually ran multiple threads. So this just goes to show that just by you talking to it, it can figure a lot of things out. You don't need to be an expert, you don't need to know how to code to make stuff like this work. The final output is 1,000 qualified leads. It scraped 7,100 Instagram profiles, enriched 4,300, and came up with 1,092 qualified leads. The cost for this for 5,700 API requests was $4 on my current plan. And some samples are this guy, the founder of Hera, 6 million pounds a year, exited to a Gymshark director. Fast forward Amy, who has 8,000 students and does some sort of coaching. Brit Social Media, who runs a social media agency. And if I wanted to be way more specific with the ICP, Claude could simply do that for me. Now, important to note, for those $4, I didn't just get 1,000 leads, but I have 2,800 unenriched candidates already in the database. So if I let it keep running, I could probably get about $6 of cost and get 3,000 leads instead of 1,000. Now let's take a look at the CSV. I'm gonna say, please move the CSV file to my downloads folder. It's now moved that over, and if I go to my downloads folder, I now have a Hormozi business owners.csv. I'm now gonna go to Google Sheets and click on blank spreadsheet, name it. I'm gonna click on file, click on import, click on upload, browse, select the Hormozi business owner CSV. I'm gonna say replace current sheet and detect automatically. I'm gonna import the data, and we now have a list with usernames, the profile URL, the full name, what tier they are, A, B, or C, the score, their emails, their phone numbers, their websites, a location if relevant, the email source where we found the email from, whether it's in the bio or Instagram, the phone source as well, the contact method, text, call, text, unknown, the links, the amount of followers, amount of following, how many posts they have, what their bio says, the category, whether they're a business, whether it's a private account, whether they're verified, where I found them from, the likers or commenters, and the source account, the source post. It even added in evidence and matched signals with a decision tree on why it decided to flag this as a qualified lead. Now I can simply continue talking to Claude and say, hey, from this list, can you find me XYZ person? Can you do this? Can you give me a list of all the emails as a CSV with comma separation, etc.? And then it will simply do that. Or you can say, now do 1,000 leads from Gary V's audience or whoever else you'd want to do. Which brings me to chapter 3. What do you actually do with the leads? Now, a lot of these things are going to be very obvious. If you want to make use of all of the emails, simply ask Claude to extract all of the emails, give you a customized, personalized outreach message for every single person, and then do cold email outreach to these emails. If you want to use the phone numbers, you can either try cold calling them or cold texting them, and you can go ahead and proceed from there. If you want to do Instagram outreach, however, because every single one of these people uses Instagram, are active on Instagram, and have a username included, you could do that as well. Now you can either automate the Instagram outreach, or in my experience, if you want to be safe, it's better to hire a low-cost VA from the Philippines or others. They are incredible workers, and have one of those people do the outreach for you on your Instagram account. Now what's important to note is that you should do no more than 50 cold outbound every single day on your Instagram account. Otherwise, you risk your account getting flagged for spam. Maybe you get your DMs blocked or similar. If you've never done cold outreach before, I would recommend slowly ramping it up. So start with 20 a day, 30, 40, until you reach the 50 a day. Warm it up over a couple of days with natural actions and a lower volume of DMs. Now, when it comes to tracking your outreach, you'd want to use a tool such as DM Tracker, which tracks every single lead that you reach out to so that you can see the reply rate, and you can also see which source gives you the highest reply rate. So let's say for this Hormozi list, you could see the reply rate for Hormozi's audience versus Gary V's audience versus Grant Cardone's audience, and so on. You can also move people through pipeline stages and be reminded when you need to follow up with a person using this tool. All you need to do once you sign up to DM Track is go to the contacts page, click on add contacts, and simply log the people here. If you ask Claude Code to give you a comma separated username list, so you have username 1, username 2, username 3, you can simply copy that, paste it in here, and it will autofill it. You can then select an outbound reason where you could either specify one of these reasons or add a new reason such as Hormozy audience and add that reason. You can also select a specific message, which could be template Claude A, which could be the first message that you send out. You can then select all of your contacts, specify that you got all of them from Hormozy's audience and that you're reaching out to all of them with template Claude A, and then simply click on add contacts and it will log them in the CRM, and you will be able to track all of your inbound leads as well as your outbound leads using this method, which then enables you to see statistics such as these with the amount of outbound you're sending, how many replies you're getting, what your reply rate is. You can see the reply rate by different outreach reasons, which could be different source accounts, as well as different messages, so that you can optimize your outreach over time to get more clients. You can also have conversations right here in the DMs, so you can simply talk to people and send them messages. You can move people through your pipeline stages, depending on whether they're interested, whether you booked a meeting, whether you closed someone, and you get reminded when you need to do follow-ups for people, depending on how long it's been since they ghosted you. All of this and more is possible with the M Tracker when you're doing your Instagram outreach, and I've put the link down below in the description as well. Chapter 4, installing it yourself. I've put the link down below in the description to the free resource, which is going to take you to mealsystems.com, where I have a ton of resources, not just for this, but also for automated content creation, how to use Claude Code, all of these different things. And the specific link in the description is for the resources for this specific scraping project. You simply download the file and repeat the process I showed you at the beginning of the video, where you open a new chat in Claude Code. You simply select a folder, you drag the file, the resource that you downloaded, into the folder that you have selected right here, and you say, hey, help me set this up. I've just watched a YouTube video on lead scraping and I want to find XYZ leads. And it's going to help you walk through that entire process. It's going to set it up for you, and you're going to be able to use this to set it up. And you're going to be able to use this to scrape leads on demand. Now, you could literally scrape tens of thousands of leads on command just like this with this specific system. And if you are someone who sells through the Instagram DMs and you're interested in getting our help to implement more AI inside of your sales process, such as an AI appointment setter, automated AI tracking, or even AI content, put a link down below in the description to book a call with us as well. And with that being said, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave any questions in the comments down below.